Hello, and welcome to Sharing Stories, a seasonal podcast featuring profiles of help and hope from the Season of Sharing Fund. I'm David Boyer. Did you know that 1 in 5 people in the Bay Area have less than $400 in savings, and 1 out of 4 renters spend more than half of their income on rent? What this means is that many of our neighbors are one crisis away from falling behind and having an incredibly hard time catching up. They're one crisis away from having to choose between rent and necessities like food and medicine, and in some cases, one crisis away from becoming homeless. Even in one of the wealthiest regions in the world, precariousness abounds. Thanks to our donors and partner agencies, since 1986, Season of Sharing Fund has been able to provide some peace of mind to more than 185,000 people in the Bay Area. The fund has been there for individuals and families when a month or 2 of rent made the difference between staying in their homes and becoming unhoused. Over the course of this series, I'm going to introduce you to a few folks who've recently received one-time support from Season of Sharing Fund, and a couple of the people who helped make it happen.
In about 6 years now, I've gone from being homeless and penniless on the street to getting a security for my family. And there's a whole lot in between that.
Today, we'll meet Jose Guevara in San Jose.
My name's Jose. I'm 49 years old. I'm a father of 5 wonderful children, three children and 2 grown kids. And very proud papa. I love being a dad. I really enjoy being a dad. I love teaching my children the things so that they can be independent. I guess it's getting to teach them, show them, raise them, and watch what they can become. My oldest son, he's gotten out of the Army. You know, he has his own struggles and stuff, but he's back in school. He's doing what he can with his with all his military stuff that he got. And my oldest daughter, she's 24, and she's a teacher living in San Diego.
Then there's the younger 3, Patti, who's 15, her brother Richard, who's a year younger, and finally, 6-year-old Emily.
She's just so much fun. I love her to death. I have no energy left.
That's how you know you're 49.
Yeah, well, I just started doing the whole, like I'm walking about 5 miles a day and reading a book and trying to retrain myself to get back into a normal life, I guess. Because, I mean, everything we've been through, it is completely life-changing. And it's one of those things where a lot of people give up. And I don't see that as a possibility. Like, that's not an option.
Jose and his family have been through a lot. Beginning in 2015, his family lived 250 miles from his job in Silicon Valley. The frequent commute was tough on everyone, so they relocated closer to his work.
We moved in with a friend of mine who was sober, and found out he wasn't sober.
Jose and his partner relapsed and spent the next several years trying to get sober while his 3 younger kids lived with his mom. He went through periods of being unhoused.
My aunt actually let me stay here for a while. It was because of her that I was able to get myself stable enough to get us to get into the homeless shelter so I could get the family back together.
In 2020, the reunited family moved into an apartment in San Jose. Less than a year later, his daughter Patti, 11 years old at the time, started to have symptoms. How did that begin, like the symptoms?
So my daughter started complaining about her back and her leg. Now, several things happened. She did physically get hurt at school a couple of times. She pulled her leg, sprained her ankle. And it was just first she started, well, I can't get up. I don't want to go to school. I can't go to school. And we thought she was just trying to avoid school. And then we started taking, I go, well, something's really going on. So I started taking her to the emergency room. We had been to the emergency room a total of 15, 16 times. And all we ever got from any of them was, here's some Tylenol, it's your weight, it's this, it's that. And so they let her out in June, and we were at the beach about a week and a half later, and she couldn't walk.
It was a wake-up call for Jose. They needed to figure out what was going on.
For some reason, it had not dawned on me to take her to Stanford. I know of Stanford. I grew up next to Stanford. Why the hell do I? So I took her to Stanford. We got there at 11:30 at night, and I was so exhausted. So I was working full time, taking her to the doctor, dealing with my son has autism, and the baby, and so at work they thought I was on drugs. They actually had me take a drug test, and they're like, "Well, what's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but I'm not on drugs. I'm just up 20 hours a day." We finally went to Stanford, and they told me that I literally took her in. I put my head down and I just passed out. The doctor came over to me and went, "Mr. Guevara, look at me." And they said, "We need to operate on your daughter immediately." And they literally told me that if I would have brought her in, they don't know. And I said, "Where's the paper? Like let me sign." And then I passed out till like 8 o'clock in the morning, and she was still in surgery. And that's kind of how I remember it. And it was a real, excuse my language, but it was a real bitch because she had the one in a million, in a million, in a million. She had Ewing sarcoma.
Ewing sarcoma is a rare cancerous bone tumor that primarily affects children and young adults.
And it was on her spine, connected to her muscle, connected to her nerve, connected to her tissue. She was in the hospital for like a month after that. She had to go through 17 rounds of chemo, 19 rounds of radiation. She almost died like 4 times from low white blood cell count, urinary tract infection. And so she'd been through a lot. I mean, she was talking about, "I want to cut my leg off. Because I can't feel it. It's numb. I can't use it." And I'm like, "Mija, even if you do all that, it's not going to make your pain go away." We sat down with 5 doctors for like 4 hours, 4.5 hours. At the end, they go, "We are not in support of her cutting off her leg. It's these muscles. This is what," and they started explaining everything about her pain and everything to us. And I was like, wow. And we lived upstairs at the time in the apartment. And at first I was able to carry her on a wheelchair because she had lost, excuse me, she had gone from like 165 pounds to about 112 pounds. And so yeah, at first I was just lifting her, but then after she got healthy again, and they finally got everything, and it got harder. Yeah. But it was 16 steps. It was 16 steps and it was just like, up and down, up, and it was multiple times every day, and it was, but that's what happened.
How does Season of Sharing fit into any and all of this?
So what Seasons of Sharing did is, in the months of December and January, when I had no income, they paid the rent for us. And so they allowed us to stay in our home until the IHSS kicked in.
IHSS stands for In-Home Supportive Services. It allows people who are disabled or elderly to stay in their homes and receive care instead of living in a facility like a nursing home. In California, there is a parental provider option, which allows parents to take care of their disabled children and get paid for it.
So like for my son, he needs to be on 24-hour supervision because he does things like, "Hi, you have gray hair. That means you're going to die soon." He also likes to just kind of cross the street. So he needs to be watched over. So I get paid for that. And then with Patti, because she's unable to walk, and during the cancer and everything, it was taking her to the doctor. It was giving her medication. It was cleaning. She had a G tube. She had a port. She had, everything, keeping everything clean. If she needed help bathing.
But there was one catch.
In order to qualify for IHSS, you cannot have a full-time job, right? Because I am their caregiver, I cannot have a full-time job.
So he had to quit while he got trained and went through the certification process. In the meantime, the bills piled up.
And so all these things that need to get paid, but that's how Seasons of Sharing helped us. They helped us to pay the rent and get us to the point where we could start being self-sufficient again. So it helps out those who want to be helped. Okay, that's the best way I can put it. It's really simple. I really appreciate it. It sounds very basic, but for me, it's like I had nowhere to go, and Seasons of Sharing it had a certain criteria, and we just happened to meet that criteria. Thank God for that, because without them, I don't know what would have happened. The thing that I like about Seasons of Sharing is when they sent me a letter saying everything would be done, I didn't have to worry about anything from there. They sent a check to the landlord.
You're in the hospital, you're kind of dealing with all of that. What does it mean to have something where you don't have to deal with all of that?
To not have just that little bit of stress on you. I mean, because for me, it was like, I really, truly felt like I was going to break at any moment. Like my whole world's falling apart. So just to have them even do that was just like, I felt like what's it, Leonardo DiCaprio? I'm the king of the world kind of thing. It really does feel like that because it's like okay, because I don't have to worry about it. Okay, the stress is gone. Um, it's okay. Let's start worrying about something else for me. That stress is gone. Let's stress on something else, right? So it's very alleviating.
Where does humor fit in all of this?
I'm sorry, but if you don't have humor, you can't survive something like this. I mean, even dark humor, especially dark humor. Um, it's funny because my daughter's the one who, I mean, she'll sit there, hey dad, look, and she'll pick up her leg. Look at this. This is how a donkey kicks, and she'll show me, and I'll start laughing, and I'm like, the resilience that she has, and the humor that comes out of her because of everything. It's to some people, it's like, well, you're a little twisted. You're right, I am a little twisted. I don't know if you're not twisted, a little twisted nowadays, then you haven't experienced life, right? I mean, because there's a lot out there, and there's a lot to take in. I wish I could make it so that this never happened to anybody else, But the sad fact of the matter is, it's going to happen more and more. Because, I mean, what do they say? Like 50% of the world will be affected by cancer, right? So all we can do is pray and continue hoping and just living.
Patti has made a lot of progress since her surgeries, and Jose is a proud papa.
I'm proud of Patti because Patti has the spirit like none I've ever seen. And I almost saw that light diminish in her. And for her to come back and be able to live the way that she's living now and to be as positive and as happy as she is, I mean, how can you not be proud of that? It just shows that I have raised someone who's strong, who's very strong-willed, and who's very independent. And I really think that that's the best I can ask for. But hey, let me show you this. This is her the other day. We were trying out this thing called the Freedom Leg.
What? He shows me a video of Patti taking a few halting steps.
So that's the kind of fun we have. Yeah, I'm saying, like, come on. I push her because she needs to be pushed. I wish she was here, but she's spending time with her mom right now. But she wants to do painting more. And I go, oh, are we gonna Bob Ross it up? And she goes, well, I'm not at that level. And I go, but that's not how you gotta think. Just think pretty little clouds. And so she goes, well, do you think we can go for a walk? Because they got nice trails out there and everything. And I go, sure. And so that's kind of what our next thing is going to be. And as you saw, she was starting to walk on her leg. When she gets that going, she'll be able to start walking. And I'm personally, I mean, yeah, I wanted to cry when I first started because just to see that. But we're getting fit for a different brace that's supposed to go around her leg and go under her pants.
Okay.
Because the plan is to get her back into school full time.
Sure.
But we're actually all going to Disney World on the 15th. Through Make-A-Wish. And it's like me and the 3 kids and my ex and my mom. Yes. Oh, and just so you know, we're not just going as regular people. We're also going themed as Alice in Wonderland. Patti gets to be the Red Queen, Queen of Hearts. I get to be the Mad Hatter. Richard gets to be the March Hare. My mom and their mom get to be Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Did you get to pick those?
No, Patti did. And she goes, you're going to be this, you're going to be... And I go, I know, I'll be Tweedledum. She goes, no, you're going to be the Mad Hatter. Mom and Grandma are going to be Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
I can't thank you enough.
No problem. No, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Nice to hear and see things are going.
You know what? It's like this. I could complain. It's not going to change a damn thing.
Sure.
So why do it? There you go.
Well, there's a lesson. Thank you for listening to Sharing Stories, a podcast from Season of Sharing Fund. The Season of Sharing Fund provides one-time financial assistance to individuals and families in the Bay Area during times of crisis, when a little support can have an enormous impact. Together, we help our neighbors remain housed, cared for, and nourished. so they can get back on their feet. If you want to hear more stories like Jose's, go to seasonofsharing.org/podcast. And if you want to give peace of mind to a neighbor in crisis, you can donate to the Season of Sharing Fund there too. 100% of your donation will go to providing relief to local people experiencing unexpected crises. Until next time, I'm David Boyer, and this is Sharing Stories.